Hello everyone, it is Mike Levin on Monday, February 15th, 2021. And today I am going to probably produce a few videos, but on this one I am going to uninstall that prior Ubuntu 20.04 I had gotten from the Microsoft Store, which I had installed under WSL 1. And then I had to upgrade it after activating the, I guess it's Windows Virtual Machine mode. And I did a reboot, and after the upgrade, it became I performed the upgrade after I activated that mode. And now it's a WSL 2 session, but you never saw it install that way. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Under a standard Microsoft command prompt, such as this, you have the program WSL, which you can take a look at its help and see all the things it can do. Among the things it can do is listing the VMs that are not the VMs, but I guess they are VMs, listing the Linuxes that are installed. WSL-L for list, and there's a verbose mode that I've been using, and you can see that it is version 2, and that's a good thing. And that is what I'll be checking now after I uninstall the one here that I happen to have in my start bar. So this is an interesting experiment I've installed from the Microsoft Web Store. You'll recall this icon is even only here because I went into the store and I typed in Ubuntu. And now, as you see, Ubuntu is carried in the Microsoft Store. You can see it's installed. You can launch it from here. Or if you launch it from here, and if you do so, all you really get is a Windows command prompt that has run the WSL program from inside of it using its default. So if we hit exit here, oh, well, because of the way I ran it, that disappears, but it's pretty much the same thing as opening that and saying WSL. Right, there it is. Exit, back out into the command prompt. So I am going to uninstall it from the desktop or uninstall it from the start menu. This app and its related info will be uninstalled. See how that goes. Okay, the icon disappeared. I'll bring the command prompt back up and type WSL list and verbose. Windows subsystem for Linux has no installed distributions. Distributions can be installed by visiting the Microsoft Store. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. However, I do want to make sure that we've set the right default. So once again, WSL -H, which is the same thing as -help. And there's going to be something about the default in here, set default. And sets the distribution as, so that sets the default distribution. We want the set default version. So we just want to make sure that this default version is 2 for when we do our next install out of the store. So that's WSL. Sometimes copy and paste from out of these things is a little bit challenging, but doable. 2. Okay, so now I can get rid of that and go once again to the store, search for Ubuntu, the 20.04 long-term service release. That's the good one. I mean, 18.04 is good too, but I've been there, done that. It's time for me to get my experience on this next version. So there you go, Ubuntu installed, uninstalled, and then reinstalled on Windows. That icon is currently hidden, so I just start typing Ubuntu, pin it to my taskbar. No, I made that mistake. Unpin from taskbar. Whoops, I'm running it. But I do want to pin it to the start menu, of course. Pin to start. Okay, so since this is the first time running, it's going to ask for a username. Like last time, I'll just use Ubuntu. And okay, so now we've got Ubuntu installed, and that's pretty much it. That brings us back to where we were before. At this point, I traditionally type sudo apt-get update, and then that updates the repo, the local copy of all the software that's available for it, and then a sudo apt-get upgrade, which upgrades all the software on your system that is has newer versions available. I won't make you sit through that because I showed that once before, but this shows you precisely how easy it is to uninstall and reinstall versions of Linux under the Windows subsystem for Linux. Pretty successful, straightforward video, and certainly a lot easier once you have all those other WSL components installed. And for those who missed the earlier video, just remember that under hidden deep under settings is how you turn on the WSL feature of Windows. So I do believe you can just start typing features, apps and features, manage optional features. There it is. More Windows features, and then scrolling down to WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, turning that check mark on. That will require your first reboot, and that gets you part of the way there, but then there's a second reboot required because of having to turn on Hypervisor mode, which, as you'll recall, has a requirement of you to open PowerShell. For you to open PowerShell as an administrator, and then to run this command, which enables the, that looks like that enables the subsystem for Linux. That's not really the one I want. There it is. See, that first command that this talks about, you don't have to do because of what I just showed you under the start menu. So you can, control panel, whatever you want to call it, it's hidden down in there. This second one you can't get away from. I don't know if there's a check mark, but when I ran up to it the last time, telling me that the virtual machine platform features needed to be enabled for Windows, this is where research brought me back to. So by typing that into a PowerShell as administrator, which you may recall, you start typing power, and you'll see PowerShell, and then you have to right click on it, and then you can run as an administrator, and then you can copy paste this command into it. It'll reboot your machine, and then you'll have a machine that's up to date enough to install WSL. Oh, one of the things I was planning on doing as a final thing, just as confirmation. Oh, I do need that command console to confirm that that's a WSL2. So it's WSL-L-V. And there it is, version 2. So you have indeed seen me install a full Ubuntu 20.04 local Linux install on the Windows Subsystem for Linux version 2, their latest and greatest, which does not require you to be on the Microsoft developer track. It doesn't require you to be on the Insider program. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.